Hello and welcome to day 8 of Vlogmas. I'm just back from the library. I haven't been to the library here in Montrose for ages. My account expired during COVID. It's just I've been in the library for a good 10 years, and every 10 years it apparently expires and you've got to renew it. And then my mum's puppy chewed my library card, and I just never, the timings of the library when they were open during restrictions and everything, I just didn't manage to get back. So it's been on my list to do for ages, and I finally did it today, which is lovely. I've been using in this area, it's run through Angus Alive, and they use the Libby app, so I was still able to use that. So I've been reading books and listening to audiobooks through that for the last couple of years, which is great. That's all I've really needed. But there's something nice about going to the library and actually seeing books, picking them out, getting time to think about what you want, not just trying to find things online. Sometimes you put in like a category and you just don't get the things you're looking for. Sometimes something else just catches your eye. So it was lovely to go today. So I've recorded a little bit of that. It's kind of difficult to show a lot of it, but it's a beautiful building, and they've got the most gorgeous green tiles inside, which I love. It's just so pretty. The building got kind of modernised slightly, the inside of it, a couple of years ago, just not long before COVID actually, and a lot of people in the town were really worried that the inside was going to get changed dramatically. Some parts have a little bit, but I can understand why. It's just to make it work better for the staff as well. But it still has all its old charm, which I love. So I'll show you that in a wee bit. I picked up a couple of books, well, 5 books, which is quite a lot for me to try and read in the time that you get allocated. I'm definitely not going to manage it, but I thought I would try anyway, and hopefully I can renew them. Nobody else will want them, and I'll be able to keep them for a bit longer. So I'll share those with you in a second. What else was I going to talk about? I am going to do a vlog, or a couple of vlogs, about books that I've read this year. I have a Instagram account where I share them. I am way behind though in sharing them. I must be at least 12 books behind in sharing the ones I've read this year. So, and not everybody's on Instagram, so I thought it would be nice to do like a chatty kind of video about what I've read, the ones that I really loved in particular, and things like that. I love watching other people talking about the books that they've read, because sometimes things just sound amazing, and it's nice to have a recommendation, because I think reading, it shouldn't be, but I feel like it's still a luxury, especially nowadays when there's so much else trying to grab our attention, that you want to know you're going to enjoy something before you sit down and start reading it, I think. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to share what I've been reading too. I am more of a murder mystery, kind of sometimes thriller, not a horror person at all. Kind of like some fantasy stuff. I like a lot of books set in the wartime as well, in the First and Second World War. I don't tend to go further back than that, history wise. Occasionally I might read something that's set a little bit further back, but in general it's kind of 20th century, I suppose. It's nice sometimes to have a modern book as well, so sometimes I read those. I don't tend to read true stories very often, and I don't tend to read biographies, because it's just, I don't know, they don't usually appeal to me. But having said that, I've picked up 2 today because the subjects interest me, so I suppose occasionally I do read them. Yeah, so I will show those in a second, but I wanted to share a couple of things that I'm working on first. So I mentioned yesterday that I am working on a test knit for a pattern that will be released very soon. So it's the Twilling Cowl, I hope I've said that right, by Therese Headland, who is Brixton Pearl. Now, if you've seen my stall at the festivals, I have the quill shawl, which is always really popular, made with a sock set. It's a lovely pattern, makes a nice size shawl, and yeah, it's great, just perfect for that, especially if you like sock sets but you don't like socks. So I would definitely recommend that. So this is a cowl. It's a so tvilling in Swedish means twin. So there's 2 parts to the cowl, I think, and I'm working on one of them. I'm not going to give any more details than that out until it's just about ready to be released. But I'm working, yeah, so this is just a provisional cast on. And I'm working it in suri fluff, so it's lovely. So that's all I'm going to share just now. But as I said yesterday, I have had to go down 2 needle sizes to get the right kind of gauge. I don't know whether it was just that I was my tension's different yesterday, because the cowl that I've made, my You Can Be Scrappy and Soft one, is the same gauge as the pattern. So I don't know, on the same needles. So I don't know why it's different this time. Maybe I'm just in a different mood. But anyway, I'm looking forward to working on it and getting it done in time for the release. It's just nice. I love working with fluff at this time of year. It's just so nice and soft. So that's one thing. And then I haven't sewn the ends in yet, but I've got my socks, 1 pair of socks finished, which is great. These are the Yarn Badger. This was the Christmas Carousel one, I think, from, was it last year's one? Or was it the year before? I can't remember. But anyway, so I got the heels put in that. So I'll get the end sewn in and then they can keep my toes warm, which is lovely. And I'm going to open my calendars because I'm a couple of days behind with that and show you those. Okay, so I was just putting my yarn back in the box and realised I opened the wrong one, so I'm going to have to edit that out and put this in. So it might jump about, I'm sorry for that, but it's the only way I can do it because I don't want to spoil anything. So I showed day 6, which is Marigold. This is Claire's from Cooks and Crafts, lovely orangey one. Now I'll show day 7, not 8. I did think there was a little bit of a jump in the colour, but I just assumed that was the way it was. And then, oh, this one's pretty. Don't think you can see it probably to its full advantage, but it's called Peach Melba Rose. It's beautiful. So those 2 go really nicely together. I'm going to show you the whole lot together because that was what I had done originally and it was really pretty. So 2 seconds till I get them all out, because I love seeing them together. It's always nice to yeah, no, that is right. Having one of those days where I don't think I'm really making much sense. Oh, right, there we go. So they're really pretty together. Okay, so day 6 is this lovely one with hints of orange and red and pink, and that is the card. Hoping that's clear enough for you to see. And then day 7 is moving into more pink tones, and it is Bottom a Weaver. So let me just quickly pull these out so I can see them all together. I'm going to wind them shortly. I want to cast something on with this desperately, but I'm not sure yet. Still not sure what I'm going to make. I should just pick something and go with it, because often that's the best kind of projects. Right, so that's Helen's, which is lovely. And then the Spectrum fibre, excuse me, I have, yeah, so no, I can't share that today actually, because I am opening every second day, which would be today's one. So I won't do that just now because I don't want to spoil anything. I hope if you have a Spectrum fibre that you've managed to avoid the spoilers. I didn't really think when I started sharing it, because normally I wait, and I think I maybe said that, I normally wait until after Christmas, but then I I don't end up getting the time to open it, even though I should. But usually, because we're not always here at Christmas time, we're sometimes at my mum's, and just time-wise, I don't get to enjoy opening it. So I thought this year I would just do it, and then I can look forward to planning projects in January time with it. So, right, I'll show you mine now without giving away any spoilers. 5. So I did show days 1 to 5 the other day. So we're moving. Let me just double check. I'm just double checking for sure that I haven't got the wrong colours. Because as I said, mine aren't wrapped. I've managed to just keep them unwrapped. So mine has gone from kind of grey tones through the warm colours into oranges, and then reddy colours towards kind of more pinky tones. It's kind of funny because all 3 calendars are very, not similar, I don't mean that, but just the tones and colours are the same so far. I love seeing how that happens sometimes. It's interesting that if we're all inspired by different things but we all end up with similar colours. It's interesting, I think. So that's my calendars. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I need to share just now. Oh, the books. I didn't talk about the books. Blimey neck. Right, so the 5 books that I picked up today. I have already recorded this, which is why it went out my head just now that I hadn't shared them. But then I felt like I lathered on for too long, which probably I'm doing again, but never mind. So the first book I picked up was the Enid Blyton autobiography, because apparently she was a very private author and not many people knew a lot about her. Even members of her family didn't know a lot about her until there was a biography released in 1974. But this is an updated one. So I thought it would be interesting to read, because if you follow me already, you'll know, but if you don't, you won't have a clue. I do run clubs during the year, and one of my clubs is the Famous 5 one, inspired by the books. And the clubs are, each of them run on a quarterly kind of basis. So you have the first month of the quarter is the book cover inspiration, and then the next 2 months are inspired by things in the book themselves. So I've run that for 2 years, and I'm going to continue next year. I also run Miss Marple one, which is called It's Criminal. So it again is inspired by the book cover and then the books, and sometimes the inspiration probably means nothing to anyone else, but it's things that have just like appealed to me. So one of the first or second book, no, it's definitely the first one, one of the colourways was called Burnt Dinners and Undercooked Puddings, because one of the members of staff who prepped the meals for the Reverend and his wife always burnt the dinners and undercooked the puddings, and it just, the way the character talks about it just amused me, so that was the inspiration for that colour. Sometimes it's things that are very obvious from the book, like the upcoming this quarter that's here just now, the colourway that's for December is called Stolen Diamonds, because that's something from the story. So it just depends. But I love finding, like, reading the book or rereading them when they're the Famous 5 ones, because I grew up with them, and then finding inspiration is just good fun. So I have plans. I haven't done much with any of the colours from the clubs, but I have plans of what I'm going to make, either a sweater with them, or there's a shawl called My Reading Shawl, I think it is by Kay Jones. It looks really nice, and it would be lovely because I do like sitting snuggled up wrapped in things anyway, so I wondered about that. It's actually one that could be used for an advent, especially if you have colours that kind of blend well together. You hold 2 minis double for each sort of section of it. So it has like 12 colours, but they're actually using 24 minis. But I think it would work well for the yarn that I've set aside from the clubs as well. So I might do that, I'm not sure. As I said the other day, I want to do more garments this next year. It's just nice to have things I can actually wear, because I haven't updated my wardrobe for a long time, and it's ridiculous when I have so much yarn. My personal stash, as well as like things that I can share with you as well, that are my wills, I mean. So it would be nice, yeah, it'd be nice to have more handmade things. I'd like to get to that stage where I have a lot of things that express who I really am, not just shot put stuff. Although some of the shot put things do express me too. But anyway. Yeah, so I have those 2 clubs that I've been running this year. The Famous 5 one for 2 years, the Miss Marple one just started this year. So we've only dealt with 4 books for it and 8 of the Famous 5, so there's plenty more to go. So I will be continuing them next year. But I'm also planning on doing a Poirot themed club. So the reason I started the Miss Marple one was that they released new book covers, which I absolutely love. And then they've just started doing the Poirot ones. All of them have black with colours, so I think it would make a quite cool club to do as well, because they would all have a bit of black in them somewhere. So I want to do that next year, so that will be running, and it's the Little Grey Cells Club. I'm just going to need to find more time to be able to make things, or find somebody who can make things for me, because it's just ridiculous, because I just want to use all the yarn and I never seem to get the time. But so those 3 clubs will definitely be running. I offer sort of 50 grams of sock and DK, and then 100 grams or like 70 gram sock sets, 120 gram sock sets. And there are other bases that you can choose from too. And then I have some other ideas for clubs, which I may share another day. I have loads of ideas actually. It's just, I don't want to end up running too many in it and get overwhelmed by it, because my club members mean a lot to me. They keep me going at all times, and the feedback is always amazing. And without them, I probably would have stopped a while ago doing yarn dyeing, because they mean so much to me. So I want to give my all to my clubs as well. And I don't ever want to feel like people are suffering because I'm struggling to juggle everything. Sometimes you can feel like that as a club member, depending on how it's run, so I don't ever want to be like that. It's another reason I only ever send out invoices once I have completed the orders from the previous month. So sometimes the invoices aren't always out on the 1st of the month, because it's just the way I am. I don't ever like feeling that people are constantly paying for things and then waiting ages for them. That's why even Advent sometimes can make me feel a little bit like, because it's such a long period before people get their things. I feel like guilty for not getting it out straight away. Anyway, all that came out of an Enid Blyton book, so there you go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the autobiography for her, because it would just be nice to learn some more about her. Her stories were a huge part of my childhood, so it would be lovely to be able to find out more. And I have some of the future club ideas or some of her other books as well, so it would be nice to see what else I can find out. Book number 2 that I picked up was this one, which is Titanic Lives, and it's about lots and lots. It says basically on the back, superbly brings to life the long forgotten or never known human stories of the Titanic. So it's about all the people that were on board, or not all of them, but many of them, and their stories, which the Titanic has always been something that's fascinated me. I've always been drawn to it, even as a young girl. I had cassette tapes about the Titanic, listening to stories, and it just means a lot to me. So I am looking forward to reading this book. It's interesting how we all have things that we're drawn to, I think. I very much have an interest in, from the Titanic up through the First and Second World War, sort of to the 60s, 70s. And I suppose not so much after that, because I've lived that, but the time before I was born, sort of the whole of the 20th century, it fascinates me. So I love stories connected with that. I often read books set in both world wars, because I think just knowing how people deal with difficult times, it can help us get through other times as well. So that's the first 2 books. This one is called Overland, and it's interesting because you read it this way, and and it's basically, it's set, so it's set in California apparently, and there's a factory, which I presume, although it doesn't actually say, but I presume it's connected with the wartime and trying to protect it from enemy. It doesn't, yeah, so it doesn't say that, but I'm guessing from what I've read on the blurb that it's protecting it from enemy attack. So it has this Hollywood sort of set built on top of it where people act out lives, and then the people that work in the factory below want to be able to get overland and be able to live a nice life. I don't know whether it's going to be good, but I saw this book in the library the last time I went, which was like 3 years, and it's been stuck in my head ever since, but I couldn't remember what it was called, so I had to look around today and find it, which is amazing. So I don't know whether it'll be good or not, but I just like that it's different, because even inside, when the story is set above the ground, it's on these pages, and when it's set under the ground, it's on these pages. So I think it'll just, even the fact of breaking it up like that is quite cool. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to give you an idea of whether I'm enjoying it or not as time goes on. The fourth book is this one called The Song Collector, and it's about a man who, let me read the inside to you. Where is it? Should have had this organised. Where is it? Gone and lost the page. Oh man, I had it earlier. Here we go. Fox, as the celebrated composer Harry Fox Talbot is known, wants to be left in peace. His beloved wife has died, he's unable to write a note of music, and no, he doesn't want to take up some blasted hobby. Then one day he discovers that his troublesome 4-year-old grandson is a piano prodigy. The music returns and Fox is compelled to re-engage with life and ultimately to confront an old family rift. Decades earlier, Fox and his brothers returned to Hartgrove Hall after the war, determined to save their once grand home from ruin. But on the last night of 1946, the arrival of beautiful wartime singer Edie Rose tangles the threads of love and duty, which leads to a shattering betrayal. With poignancy, lyricism and humour, Natasha Solomon creates a captivating tale of passion and music, of roots, ancient songs and nostalgia for the old ways, of the ties that bind us to family and home and the ones we're prepared to sever. Now, I've read one of her books before, Mr. Rosenblum's List, and it was a long time ago. I'd actually forgotten I'd read it until I saw it on here, but I do remember enjoying it, so I'm hoping that's going to be a good book. I'm looking forward to reading it. And then the last one is just a nice Christmassy book. I've seen people talking about it online and thought it would be nice. It's set in Edinburgh in a bookshop, so I thought it'd be lovely. So, despite recording this again to stop it being such a rambly one, I think it's just as rambly as the first one, so I apologise for that, but it's the way it goes with these things. I'd love to know what you're reading, if you have any recommendations or books that this year that have really stood out, or any time in your life that have really stood out as amazing. Yeah, I would love to know. Yeah, so I think that's everything. I will share the little bits of the library that I recorded with you now, and I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.